What's up, y'all? You are tuned in to the Listen Up podcast. I'm your host, Jess, and it's time for you to listen up to what God has called you to do. Let's get it. Hey guys, welcome back to the Listen Up with Jess podcast. I'm so excited that you decided to press play on this new episode. Welcome back. We made it through the summer. I just took an unintentional hiatus. Y'all know how I do, honestly. You really know how I do. And if you don't know how I do, I am your favorite inconsistent podcaster. So at the end of the day, just know when I do drop an episode, it's going to be heat. It be good. You know what I'm saying? It be right on time. It be what your spirit need. You know, all of the above. It's just not consistent. And that's just the way it is. Okay. Anyways, y'all, I had to come in and check in, and kind of do like a little, I would call this a mid-year review. You know, if you know, I'm an HR corporate baddie. Okay. So one of the things that we kind of do in corporate, like we will have mid-year reviews, right? So we're now 6 months, 7 months in the year, right? We're going into now wrapping up second quarter, going really into third quarter. We're in third quarter now, right? Heading into third quarter and then getting ready for fourth quarter at the end of the year. And so I think it's so important that we as individuals, right, if you are on your self-discovery, improvement, and development journey, right, to do a mid-year check-in within yourself, okay? So I'll probably use some of my like HR terms, jargon interchangeably with this episode. But this was just something that was on my spirit because I'm like, Jess, you need to do a mid-year on yourself, honestly, like, and personal, like not professionally, like your personal, the things that you've been navigating and going through. And so I want to encourage you guys to kind of do the same, like start asking yourself some important questions that can kind of help start having you stimulate a conversation about your growth. Where, how far have you gotten, right? What are some things you're still working on? And what are some things that you still want to accomplish, right? Usually, like in the beginning of the year, like we get all excited, right? And we come up with our goals, right? So personal goals, career goals, right? So you even have your health and fitness goals. Majority of us have that. Majority of us have, just wanting to, be more active, like within, physical, and then like eating healthy, right? Your relationship with God, like those goals. Maybe you have relationship goals. You want to put yourself back out there in dating or getting serious, getting out of these streets, you can have so many, personal goals, financials, really financial. Like we all have them financial goals. We're like, okay, this is the year I'm going to budget. This is the year I'm going to knock down some debt. This is the year I'm going to like, really get serious with my finances or get that job that is going to have the benefits that I need, or probably have goals about maybe, paying off your debt, getting a new car, home, or just, being a better steward with money and tithe and offering. Like all of the above. We can have so many goals that we kind of set out for the year. And so I think it's important that, we take a seat and take some time to reflect, right? How far have you gotten? Like, and what are some things maybe we need to pivot? Maybe that's not a goal at all, for yourself. And now you're like, oh, life is life. That's actually not even a priority. So I need to pivot that goal. I want to just, pause and say it's okay to pivot. Like, I think we are in a society where we are very self-critical and we're overachievers, and then like we want to just like, we're kind of scared to pivot because pivoting is scary. It is uncomfortable. It takes sometimes a lot of faith. It's unknown. It wasn't a part of the original plan. For those that are planners, you know who you are in the chat, okay? And me, like, I think I'm a planner to a T too. I like control sometimes, and that's something that I really have struggled with, right? So I know when having to pivot, sometimes it's hard, but I don't think it's that hardest for me because of like in my career, I always had to pivot. And then personally, I've had to pivot when it comes to relationships, healing, like a lot of, I've always had to expect the unexpected. So I think I do well with pivoting. But yeah, I can understand why some individuals might really struggle with that. You know, when it comes to having like pivoted goals. So I want us to kind of take this time. I'm going to take this time this is like a podcast therapy episode for me, y'all. So if, you know, I'm just, you know, I drop gems all along the way, but if it relates to you, resonates to you, you're going to enjoy it. But it's really me kind of self-reflecting on the things that I've had to navigate these last, I would say 7 months now, right? Yes, 7 months, 6 to 7 months. And so it is a lot to unpack, but I'm not going to try to make it too lengthy, but you just never know how, you know, that be moving or whatever. But yeah, so I think for me, I know that as I've talked to like some of my closest family and friends, like they kind of know that a lot of things I have been navigating from the beginning of the year, and to kind of just see where I'm at right now. I'm gonna give myself so usually let's wheel it back. When it comes to like mid-year reviews, right? Usually you kind of, if you are a manager, right, a people manager, and you're giving feedback to your direct report, your employee, I always coach my leaders and say, hey, you need to give active performance feedback. That means in the moment, if you see something, say something, okay? Like one of my pet peeves with leaders is like they will see things and then they just like, they'll either just hold it all in and then they'll come to me like, Jessica, you know, Bob is not performing and we need to put him on a performance plan, and, you know, they're just not meeting my expectations, and they were doing this and they were doing that. And they have a whole tally sheet. And then my first question, I said, have you said anything to this individual that they're not meeting expectations? Have you given them active feedback in the moment where you saw that they dropped the ball or they didn't meet the mark? Like, did you actively coach them? And that's where the cat, you know, gets its tongue. And I'm like, okay, listen, like that's one of my biggest pet peeves, because if you see something, say something. And I get it. Sometimes, crucial conversations are hard. And there was actually a book called Crucial Conversations, I believe. One of my friends, he like had me read that, you know, a couple years ago. And I will never forget how much that had really like changed me and helped me, because it was something that was so necessary. And I had to do it, like read it within my career too, to be able to navigate difficult conversations. And as someone who has learned, I study attachment styles, all of that. I've done all the self-assessments. I'm a very self-aware individual. So like I actually have a struggle because I struggle with, it's more of a fearful avoidant attachment style. And so as a fearful avoidant, I like to avoid difficult conversations that bring way too much emotions, at the time, right? Like, I rather not us sit here and just soak in our feelings. Like, it makes me literally uncomfortable, right? And I mean, over time, I have grown to try to embrace that more and sit in my feelings and be able to express them. But it is definitely something that stretches me every time. It is not a natural thing for me to sit here and just like, express how I feel or how you hurt me or how, you didn't meet my expectations. I typically I avoid it. So I will either try to make an excuse and be like, maybe it wasn't that bad, or I'll either say something about it in my head, but I'm trying to think about ways, okay, how can we quickly get over this thing? Because I don't want to sit here and feel it, right? Or I don't want to feel uncomfortable having this conversation. And so I understand if you are like me and you really just try to avoid difficult conversations and you just genuinely don't like that, giving feedback to an individual, especially yourself. Here's the thing, because we're doing a self-reflection mid-review, right? So like having to sit down with yourself and be like, hey, friend, let's be honest. Like, you know what I'm saying? What goals have you accomplished so far? What was successful to you? What are you proud of, or what are you not proud of? What obstacles have you encountered, right? How do I respond to challenges? Like how have I been responding to the challenges, right? And making sure that we're just being honest with ourselves, right? I think that's important. And so, again, like this is kind of like where I feel impressed too, because I had so many things on my mind, y'all. Like I've been going through a lot, right? And this summer has been very eventful, to say the least. I think it's gone way too fast. Like, honestly, we're in August. Kids are going back to school already. I just feel some type of way. And let's be honest, like as you're adulting too, I think one of the one of the hardest things that I remember I had to really accept. I remember even just getting right out of college, right, and going into the workplace. The workplace. Like I remember living out in Mississippi, y'all, and it hit me like when I started work in May. In June, I was like, oh my God, you don't have any more summer breaks. Like that's not a thing. Like when you went all throughout, when you were a kid in school, high school, and college, you always look forward to summer breaks where you could just honestly have a ball and not care. Like it wasn't like the constant responsibilities of like working. And yeah, like I used to work, but I wasn't like clocking in like that, like 9 to 5 type stuff. So it was just like, honestly, the adulting of like accepting that you have no more summers is something you have to grieve, honestly. So if you are a young person, young adult, right, you're transitioning into the workplace full time after graduating from college or even high school, and you didn't go to college but you just going into the work, not having summer breaks, oh my God, it is a grieving process. Take your time. It's okay. We all have gone through it. That's my little spill on that, because that will have me like driving up the wall. But I say all that to say this summer has gone by so fast, right? And so as I have been kind of going through, I feel like I've been just going through the motions, but I've also been enjoying a lot of quiet time of like reflecting and pouring back into me, right? Especially after experiencing so much grief in the beginning of the year. It was such a heavy season for me at the end of like 2024 and beginning of 25. And so within that, 4-month span, my life was really I feel like a dark and heavy space, to where I saw it impacted my, I think, my physical health. I remember I gained a lot of weight, and I didn't realize I was gaining weight like that. But I was getting back to the weight of where was in deep grief of like 2020, I would say 2021 and 2022. And so I realized, like, dang, like the stress and the grief is like sitting on my body, and it was weighing on me heavy. Even with me still working out, like going to the gym, all that, I knew I wasn't really still eating right. And I think, the body keeps the score, honestly, and we've heard that. And so it can keep the scores in so many ways, where you even start to have just like joint pain and headaches, yeah, like migraines and things like that. Like for me, it was just more of like I was having like a lot of joint pain, back pain, tension in my neck. And I realized, okay, I need to start taking care of myself again, right? And so it was a lot. So, after losing like my job, right, in the beginning of the year, and dealing with that grief, right, on top of losing two close family, like loved ones, for me, it was, how much more I can take, God, right? And then God literally opened up a door for me. I'd say it was only God. I got a new opportunity, a new job, and it's a job that I literally, one of my dream jobs that I prayed for. Okay. It's a promotion role, and this really stretched me professionally, right? But even professionally, it started to stretch me spiritually and mentally as well, because I realized that in order for me to even get to the place I want to be successful professionally, spiritually, I need to be totally dependent on Him. I cannot be dependent on, all of the metrics and goals and the resources and certifications and things that are all behind my, no, like I got to be dependent on God, because at the end of the day, God gives me the confidence and hope that I need to be able to perform and execute and to show up as my authentic self and show up to perform. So I had to make sure that I was still like really locking in and being spiritually aligned with God. And in this role that I'm in now, in the level as a senior manager, it has definitely been a humbling experience. I have battled with imposter syndrome. I've battled with inadequacy, and being like a Black, woman in a predominantly, male and white male, like I would say, environment. I support a lot of VPs and executives that don't look like me at all. We have nothing in common, right? And so, of course, that's stretching me out of my comfort zone, because I'm pretty good at connecting with people in general. But then, like, it's a little awkward when you're just like, okay, I'm trying to connect with the older, probably like a boomer, right? White male, and you have nothing in common, right? But I think, again, it's one of those things where every time I'm having to like step in rooms where I feel like there's only me, right? I'm literally praying and interceding with the Holy Spirit to guide me, give me the right words to say, give me the right, strategy and confidence, and how to connect with these leaders and how to partner with them well. And so in my new job, I'm literally depending on the Holy Spirit, and it's a beautiful thing. I didn't realize how much me being in this role too, right, in my new job, even though I struggle with a lot of Whew, I'm about to get emotional. Oh my God. Okay. But even though I struggled, right? I felt like I was struggling accepting like, wow, I'm like, am I really like worthy of this level of this responsibility, of this type of role, right? You know, God has been reminding me that the pain that I went through prepared me for the position. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And I don't know who this is for, my God, but the pain that you're going through or that you even went through is going to prepare you for the position that he has for you. And I only getting emotional because, you know, guys, I lost my manager at my old job. And, you know, she passed away from cancer, and she was my mentor. Like, she was like a mother to me, of course. And I talk about her, Taronda Clark. That's my girl. And I used to get so kind of upset sometimes with her because she was so hard on me. And I'm like, yo, you're going so hard on me. And there were times where I think, dang, does she even like me? Like, but it was always within love, right? And I didn't know until I'm in the position that I am today, where I was promoted into another level, knowing that the pain, the uncomfortable, the accountability, the things that I was going through, wow, she was here. And then even while I had to grieve her being gone, right? You know, seeing her become sick and her decline and everything, and how it had really affected me mentally. But yet I still rose and moved with resilience. Like, I'm just sitting here in awe of how, like, God used that pain to prepare me for the position that I have today. And even when I felt like she was just pushing me too hard, she was pushing me so that I could be prepared. So that I could be prepared to be in the position that I am in today. And I don't know who this is for, but I'm literally in tears, y'all. I'm sorry. But I get emotional because I'm like, God just literally gave me that word. And I think that brings me peace, knowing that your pain was not without purpose, right? There is purpose in your pain. And in the midst of it, it feels like hell. Y'all, it feels like hell. It feels like the worst type of grief you'll ever go through, when you have to lose someone and then you have to accept they're just gone, and you can't pick up the phone and call them. You can't keep doing life with them anymore. Whatever that grief that you're going through, it feels in the moment like unbearable. It just sucks so bad. And within time, it starts to kind of make sense. I'll be honest, there are certain things that still will never sit well with me when it comes to this situation and me losing her, but I know there was still purpose within there. And I think the one thing that I still grieve the most is that, you know, I get sad that she can't see me operating in the position that I'm in now, because I know that she would be so proud of me and how I've been really executing everything that she taught me when it comes to just being a strong partner, and being more proactive and strategic, and being sharp with people in the room that may underestimate you because you look a certain way, or you act a certain way, but you come in and you knock down all of the statistics and the stereotypes, and you're doing it. You're doing the thing. Like, I know that she would be so proud of me. And so I grieve still that she cannot see the fruits of her labor in me. But I know I have peace that I don't know, I just feel a sense of peace whenever I'm going through uncomfortable situations within my career, within personal life, and I can hear her voice, and I can hear that small voice of just like kind of giving me still the wisdom and sense to like to not be so hard on yourself, but to execute, like to move with intentionality, right? And that is something that I'm thankful for. I'm just thankful that I had that experience. And so as I reflect, like now I hear the feedback, like my new manager, she gives me great, feedback like, wow, Jessica, like all of your leaders, they like think so highly of you. Like you're doing an amazing job. Like they really enjoy partnering with you. Like keep doing the good work. And hearing that affirmation from my new manager, it's almost like it's tied to like I feel good about it because I'm like, okay, like, what I'm doing, the work that I'm doing, the pain that I went through, all of that is not in vain, right? And I'm continuing to grow and develop as much as I can where I currently am. And it is a reflection of just everything that I've gone through. And so professionally, I can say I feel like I am meeting expectations, right? I am contributing and trying to be a successful player in that space. It is hard times, but I think what is so beautiful again is that I'm really depending on God, y'all. Like there has been, I've had to do some, big like presentations and just things that have been outside of the norm. Like I've done this work before, but not like a more of like senior level, and I take a lot of now responsibility and project owning, and I'm realizing that I'm really just leaning into the Holy Spirit, like God's control my day. God, give me the right words to articulate myself, help me to be focused, help me to be a true partner. Like these are things that I'm saying throughout the day. And when I start to feel anxious, and just making sure that God, I'm partnering with Him first so that I can partner well with others, right? And man, that goes not even just professionally, relationally. Listen, y'all, like we want to be in relationships with their friends, with, coworkers, or with a significant other, right? Like in order for us to partner well, we have to partner well with God first. And that's really what He has been spoken to me. Like I've just been like, yeah, I've been playing around with that word, honestly, because I know when it comes to relationships, I do well. I do connect. I think specifically romantically, though, I was struggling, yo. Definitely struggling in that space because I wanted to pick and choose when I wanted to partner with God and how I wanted that to look right. And again, this is for the individual that is really struggling, that likes control, that kind of already has a view of what it will look like, when, where, how. And if it's not aligned in the preference, it's not aligned in the list, it's not aligned in the goal and the plan, child, we not even going to God about it, because it didn't come the way it was packaged. It didn't come the way it was supposed to look and supposed to be, and all of the things, right? Or what it sound like and all that. And it's funny to me because God has really been wrecking my heart. He's been wrecking my heart, honestly, within definitely this year, right? But I feel like I really laid it down. I want to say I laid it down really around the beginning of this year, right? To really surrender what I thought my love life would look like or be, and really asking God. I've really been asking God, write my love story. Like I'm giving you permission now. Like, At first, I'll be honest, like, and I love the saying where it says, you know, God is a gentleman. He'll never force himself on you. You have to give him the permission to move, to have his way, to do what he said he's going to do. But in that permission comes surrendering. In giving him permission, that means you are surrendering all, right? And I used to try to pick and choose what I wanted to surrender. And I don't know, it just comes to a point, y'all. It comes to the point where you get sick and tired of being sick and tired. Tired of the way he treats me, tired. No, seriously. Like, I'm tired. I'm tired of trying to do it on my own way. It has not worked. It hasn't worked. I am about to be 33 next month, which is crazy work, honestly, about to be 33. And according to my plan, I should have already been married. Been married with kids, truly. But I was in my own way. That's just the reality. I really was in my own way. And one of the things a word God gave to me this year, I mean, he's been speaking to me these 7 months, man. These 7-8 months, he's been speaking to me. Okay, listen, he told me, he was like, Jessica, I can no longer entertain what's not for me. If I keep entertaining what's not for me, I'm going to delay what's for me. Okay? And I have been speaking this word to a lot of my friends because I love them to death. But we both wrong. Like, we both be doing that. We really do. We really both be out here entertaining what's really not for us, delaying what's really for us. And the more we continue to entertain what's truly not from us, not from God, we're going to delay what's from God. And we're not even going to have the lens to recognize what's from God because we're too busy entertaining and be blinded by what's not from God. And I have done that for so long, y'all. Oh my God, I've done it for so long. Listen, I'm my own enemy at this point. It's no longer I'm blaming the enemy. I am my own enemy. Like, I gotta even stop giving the devil credit on this stuff. Like, yo, like, stop. Like, I be in my own way, on my own way, because I'm not allowing God to have his way. And that's just point blank period. Like, this is a time where, again, I'm self-reflecting. So I got to put my big girl panties on and call a spade a spade. Like, Jess, you're the problem. Oh, am I the problem? Like, these are things that I have in my head. And I have to have conversations with y'all. And I'm sorry, some of y'all need to have that same conversation with yourself. It is what it is. You might be the problem. You might be the problem. And it's okay. The first step is admitting it. The second step is go see that lady. Go pay that lady. And when I say that lady, go to the therapist and start getting some work done. Yeah. Right? And surrendering it to God. I mean, that's just honestly the formula, right? Surrendering it to God. And so for me, I'm in this season where I'm like, yo, after he told me that, I say, Jess, okay, so you can't, you gotta, God has keep speaking to you this word. You gotta stand on business on it. Right. And I'll be honest, like it was uncomfortable for a minute, because as I'm speaking it, I'm like, yo, you really got to put it into practice. That means how you move is going to be different. Like people that you entertain, it's going to be different. Like even if it's your type and it's something that you really want, it is going to be different. Like you just know, like it, and you got to go to God right before you entertain it. And see, I'm not used to that. I'm used to entertaining and then be like, okay, God, what you think about him? What you think about him? Yeah. And it is so funny to me because he be laughing like, You just like to waste time. You really be about that waste your time ministry. Was. And it's been a journey. But I think I'm in a better space, y'all, where now I'm truly like, God, write the love story. And he's starting some chapters. He's starting chapters in my life. And I love that for me. I love that. And it has been uncomfortable. I can't even hold you. It's uncomfortable as hell because it's not what I'm used to. To be honest, I'm not even used to healthy relationships. I'm not used to God-centered relationships. Yes, I've always had a desire. I speak on it. Like, these are things that I want to always encourage women on, but I personally have not experienced it in totality, like in the fullness of it yet. And so where two parties were in agreement, right? And so for me, it is something that I'm still actively praying and surrendering and asking God, okay, God, like, I want to trust you with writing this love story, right? And with writing what you have for me. Is it really from you? And is it for me? And if not, that's okay. Give me the wisdom to accept it, to walk away, but also give me the wisdom to experience, right? And whatever the case may be. And that goes for anyone, right? That is really in a season where you feel like, you're in an uncomfortable space because you've never experienced something like healthy, or you've never experienced something sometimes stretching you in an uncomfortable new position, in a new town, a new city. Like, there's just new seasons that some of us are now in that we weren't 6 months ago. And so now it's stretching you and you feel vulnerable. There is vulnerability. There's a lot of vulnerability that happens when you are being stretched and now you're now uncomfortable. But I always say, being uncomfortable gets you comfortable with God. Like, embrace the uncomfortability so that you can get more comfortable with Him. Getting comfortable with Him will then give you the peace with the uncomfortability. And I've had to navigate that my whole life, my whole adulthood. And I think as a 32-year-old now, right? Looking back at the young Jess when she was in her early 20s and just having to navigate the world on her own, fresh out of college, and be this young adult, I can say that what has made me the woman that I am today, and to be able to go and do things that I never thought that I could do, or that are out of my comfort zone, is because I literally just allowed myself to be vulnerable and get comfortable with God to push me out of my comfort zone, and then for Him to have his way, right? And you'll be surprised at so many things you'll be able to accomplish, right? If you just step out on faith. And that is something we're going to have to do a part 2 on it, right? We're going to talk about faith, because faith is a tricky word. Faith, right? But faith is something that you really have to be able to embrace and practice, like literally exercise that muscle that you've the one that you've been sitting on, like when you hate legs or you hate arm day and you don't want to lift a little heavier, you comfortable with your little weight, you're 10 pounds, you're 5 pounds, and you need to go up in weight. Like, my trainers, like, they did not play. Every time I used to cheat myself with weights, they'd be like, why do you have that 10? Why do you have that 15? No, you're getting a 20. No, you're getting a 25. Better yet, get the 30. And yet always pushing me to really, exercise that muscle. And I feel like faith is like that, where we have to really take practical leaps of faith, right? And And it is scary, especially if you are someone who likes control and that has trust issues. And so I'm gonna do a part 2 of this, right? We're gonna talk about trust issues, because I think a lot of us are struggling with that when it comes to how do you discern between how do you discern what is faith, right? And then what is fear? Because there is some fear in between there, and the fear that you have sometimes is really holding you back. But in your mind, you're thinking this is practical fear, like it's practical. Me, I'm a big realist, so I get it. I'd be like, it's fear, but it's also practical. Like it makes sense, you know? And then some of it is just like, no, sometimes you really do have to have some crazy faith. So I don't know. This episode, again, was kind of like a self-reflection of just a podcast therapy session for me, okay, of how far I've come, how God is continuing to use me. And I want to encourage someone who has either gone through something similar, that's gone through a season of grief and gone through hard times. And right now, you know, we're 7-8 months into the year now where you're like, okay, I'm reflecting, how far have I come? I want to encourage you, you've probably come a good long way. You've come a long way. You're doing well. You are meeting the expectations. You are being a strong contributor to yourself and to your society, to family. And even if you have missed the marks on some things, give yourself grace, but push yourself to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, right? To get comfortable with being uncomfortable so that it can stretch you to where God wants to get you and have you, so where you can totally depend on Him. Okay? So that is my episode for today. I hope that you are blessed by it. I hope that you share this episode with someone and that they may be encouraged to allow their pain to prepare them for the position that God has for them. All right. Bye.